Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In honor of it officially being autumn, I wanted to share a project that was somewhat spooky inspired. So this is a process video where I'll be transforming this 1980s very sweet puff sleeve pink dress into a spiderweb top with a matching scarf. When I was brainstorming ideas for videos for the Halloween season, I initially wanted to demonstrate embroidering a spiderweb onto a sweater or cardigan inspired by an image of a 1940s sweater that was embellished this way. There's a lot of cute images online of different spiderweb tops and dresses. I especially love this vintage pink formal dress with the beaded webs. I also saw some cream versions of it, but the pink one is what inspired me to choose this pink vintage dress that I've had for a while. I got it from a flea market last spring. I like that the pink is kind of unexpected for the gothy spider web motif, and I wanted to make a fun kind of cheeky project that anyone could easily make with a blouse that they already have in their wardrobe or something you could find at a thrift store easily. I feel like this could be done on button downs or t-shirts, sweatshirts, dresses, pretty much whatever. Like, spider webs are pretty straightforward. Yeah, so let's get started. The first thing I'm gonna do is cut the dress into a top. I took this top over to my ironing board and folded down a hem, which I ended up folding twice so that the raw edges were hidden, and then I hand stitched it in place. I also decided to go ahead and re-sew all of the buttons because they were in pretty bad shape and I wanted them to be functioning. Once I finished sewing all of the buttons, I set aside the top and went back to the bottom half of the dress, which I had cut off to make the top. This is what I'm going to use to make a matching scarf. I'm just taking off the buttons, which I will put with my other button supplies. I don't need them for the scarf. I'm using a bandana to get the right size for the handkerchief, or scarf I should say. I folded it in half because I didn't have enough fabric to make a square, but I thought a triangle would suffice. And I just lined it up with the hemmed part of the skirt and cut out generously so that I had seam allowances to fold back and stitch. Next, I hemmed the scarf the same way I did the hem of the top. The only difference is I stitched it on the machine instead of hand stitching just to make it a little easier on myself. Now that both of those pieces are hemmed nicely, I'm going to draw out the design for the embroidery that I plan on doing. With my ruler, I'm going to be drawing lots of lines that all meet at the center point, which I picked to be the bust of the shirt. To transform this into a web, I'm going to draw curved lines that connect all of these straight lines going in a circle around the bust, and that's basically how I draw a spider web. I think you could also do straight lines, but I like the flare of the curve. I also drew a spider, which I plan on beading once the web is embroidered. I went ahead and also drew a web on the side of the shirt, and then I drew one on the back with a tiny spider. And before I start embroidering, I also wanted to draw a web on the scarf. Okay, now I'm going to embroider all of the webs. I'm going to be using black thread for everything, and I divided the thread in half, so instead of 6 strands, it's going to be 3. And that was just my preference for this project. I think I go between using all of the threads and then sometimes dividing it depending on my mood, but for this I wanted it to be a bit more of a delicate motif. After 3 very long and tedious days of embroidering all of the webs, I can finally start beading the spider. My plan for the spider is to use an assortment of black beads. I have some vintage ones, I've got some bugle beads, and I also have some plain black beads, but I don't have a concrete plan. I just wanted to find some beads that fit the body of the spider, and then I figured I would bead around the larger beads with seed beads, and then I also grabbed a couple teal beads to use for the eyes. Now that that's done, I'll show you how the whole project came out. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. I'll be back again soon with another one. In the meantime, if you want to check out my shop or Patreon, the links are in the description. Take care, bye!